Neo-noir films develop and build on some of the key forms and conventions of traditional noir films. These developments include the addition of modern technology to narratives, as well as the films taking place in more modern settings and showcasing modern storylines. Therefore, as our film was a neo-noir, we chose to stay in line with most of these conventions. For example, mobile phones are pivotal to our plot, as they are used by both Scarlett and Lenny to catch our main protagonist. This is a fairly common setup within other neo-noir films. For example, in The Departed, the characters regularly text and call each other details about their current situations, exposing and catching each other out in a similar fashion to our film. Another link we've made with the neo-noir genre is the fact that our film takes place in fairly contemporary settings, with the modern cafe being the film's main location. Cafes are used quite a bit in both neo-noir and traditional noir films, like Nightfall and Casablanca. Cafes and bars are urban settings which, despite being available to the public, often allow for characters' private conversations to take place, due to their noisy nature. Although we chose to use a cafe, we made it so that it was empty apart from the four main characters. This is because the gang own the cafe and so use it as their meeting place after opening hours, but I also feel that this silence helps to create a tense atmosphere which complements our plot. Our other setting, the factory, matches conventions found in other noir films as well. Similar settings and circumstances are found in films like Trance, as the gang in this film occasionally meet in an abandoned warehouse to torture the protagonist of the film. In our film, the factory setting is very cold and harsh, with concrete and metal making up the majority of the surroundings, and I think that this makes the audience feel uncomfortable. In addition to this, we chose to use dark lighting for the setting, as it is a key convention of the genre, with the spotlight and later the main lights casting shadows on the objects and actors being filmed. I feel this really added to the eerie tone we were looking to create in these scenes, and emphasised the femme fatale's mystery and protagonist's isolation as he gets tied up. Talking of protagonists, our film's main protagonist, Detective Harvey Blaine, follows the hard-boiled detective archetype found in real noir films. He is an undercover detective, which is an occupation regularly found throughout the genre. To make another link with The Departed, its main character, Billy Costigan, shares similar qualities with ours. For example, he is positioned within an infamous and dangerous gang, and becomes emotionally involved with the femme fatale. Like many noir films, our ill-fated main character embarks on a downward spiral of lies, being manipulated, and committing criminal acts, which all eventually result in his brutal death near the end of the film. The film's other characters, Lenny and Scarlett, adhere to conventions as well. Lenny is the apparent villain of our film, being a wealthy gangster with a threatening and awful demeanour. In some ways, he is similar to other films' villains who stand at the top of their own gang's hierarchy, such as Frank Costello in The Departed, Frank in Trance, and Mickey Cohen in Gangster Squad. Scarlett fills the role of our femme fatale, an archetypal character seen in all noir films. While many noir films portray their femme fatales to have some initial power, or to be of high status, either through their jobs like Trance's hypnotherapist, Elizabeth, or The Departed psychiatrist, Madeline, or through their wealth, such as the Double Indemnity's Phyllis Dietrichson, we made our femme fatale appear to be completely lack any power, and be of lower status than the rest of the characters. We did this by giving Scarlett an unskilled job as a cafe worker, positioned underneath the other gang members in the gang's hierarchy. This makes her betrayal seem even more shocking to the audience, as she betrays the very man who gives her a chance at wealth. Although we partly challenged the conventions of this character, we decided not to stray too far away from the typical archetype, as after all Scarlett does still wear red, end up stealing a large sum of money and betrays the men around her. As expressive shot types like the high angle and low angle are common conventions of the noir genre, we used them in our film too. We used high angle shots for the characters when they appear to be vulnerable, like when Scarlett is behind the counter after being hurt by Lenny and when Harvey is about to be killed. On the flip side, we chose to present Lenny in mostly low angle shots, as they convey power, but we also presented Scarlett in a low-angle shot as she leaves the cafe with the money. This was a deliberate choice, as it's the first time in the film where she gains some form of power. Devices of disorientation are also used frequently in the noir genre, and we use the canted angle where Harvey looks at Scarlett and in the factory, as the unsettled composition disorientates the viewer, mirroring Harvey's disorientation. In addition, many noir films use Barth's Enigma code theory to draw the audience in from the very first scene. An example of Enigma used in film noir is in Double Indemnity, where in the opening credits we are shown the silhouette of a man limping towards the camera. We are forced to ask ourselves, who is this man, and why is he injured? And it's later revealed that he is the main protagonist. We liked this concept and tried to include it in our film. Therefore, we opened our film with our protagonist tied up in a mysterious setting, with only a voiceover giving vague details about his situation to the audience. As the film progresses, however, the unanswered questions will be answered, and we find out where he is and how he got to that point. In conclusion, I feel we have effectively made use of the existing conventions of film noir, while still developing, challenging and shaping them to fit our film.